Hello, lovely souls. Welcome back once more to this growing YouTube channel. As you can see, I'm filming outside today, and nobody's near me. I was wearing the mask. Don't get on my case. And there is still nobody, but I just tend to get a little uncomfortable with the mask. But don't worry, things are sanitized here, and yeah, so on and so forth. But today I want to talk to all of you about love, compassion, our emotions, our thoughts, and our belief systems. So, we often think that we need to be over analyzing of our thoughts to understand why we do what we do. And the point being, I'm just checking if there's anyone or not, so then I'll put on the mask. But yeah, but till that time I'm just gonna hold it. Yeah, the point is that we often think that it's our thoughts that we need to analyze, and after analyzing our thoughts, we'll get to the root of our emotion. And I've done that pattern like throughout. So I want you to imagine, like, here's the belief system, here are the emotions, and then here are your thoughts. So we always choose this down to up trajectories where we start analyzing and decoding our thoughts to understand what underlying emotions it's triggering to us. But I want to talk to you about this, that for example, if you feel that, let's do the most common one, let's talk about relationships. If today you think that, why do I keep attracting these toxic people, and I'm talking about in terms, like, since I'm a woman, I'm going to talk about it like that, but this is going to be applicable for everyone, all of anyone. So just change the genders if you are, or don't, that's all right too. So for example, if somebody thinks that, why do I always attract the most toxic people, why you can't seem to understand why on earth, despite doing everything spiritual, or maybe you do the meditation, or maybe you work on yourself, that why still you seem to attract the toxic kind. And I've been over this for years and years and years, okay, and I mean years, because like for years I spent time thinking, what is it about me that attracts these toxic men? And then I chanced upon this, because as I started decoding and analyzing my thoughts, I started thinking and understanding why I felt certain emotions. And now the thing is, when you feel certain emotions, then, and if you are brave enough to face that uncomfortable emotion and put in extra work, it's then you understand that it is your belief system that attracts somebody who is toxic. Now you will ask me, what is the difference? The point is that belief systems are these set systems that we have grown up with. It started as early as when you were a year old, because from 0 to 7 years old, we know that we absorb everything, and that is what creates our personality. And it's true. So now you have to think back, what happened when you were from 0 to 7. Now that's a part of our lives that I know most of us cannot go back to, right? Like it's a part of our life which is very blurry now, and even our parents cannot really help us all the time in regards to this. But I want you to finally hit the bullseye and ask, what do I look for in a partner? And then you can ask yourself, because once you think about it, you are going to have certain fears come up, you're going to have certain emotions come up, you're going to have some triggers come up. So for example, when I ask myself now, why did I attract toxic men? And I did find the answer. It was because I had always seen toxicity in my environment. I always saw the worst and the worst of relationships. I saw the worst of the marriages. I saw the worst of interpersonal relationships, and that used to make me think that this is how it's going to be. This is the best that it's going to be. And then people have this trope of saying, "Oh, why don't you compromise?" Compromise to banta hai, which loosely translates into you must compromise. It is something that everybody does. And I'm not saying that you're not supposed to compromise even a little bit, because differences will occur. But this is not the compromise in the way that most people think about it. I've actually seen a lot of my girlfriends go through relationships where she was brainwashed by the friends of her ex-boyfriend that in a relationship one has to compromise. There is somebody who is loud and the other one has to always compromise. And what led was, my friend, she was in an absolutely toxic relationship. The guy cheated on her, and the guy used to lie to her, and so many things, and I used to see it. And the effed up point was that she did not believe me. So dear women, if any of your friends ever come up and tell you that there's something fishy about the guy you're with or the girl you're with, please trust them. They're not doing that for their own good. And having said that, I'm not even going to deny that there are some people in the world who still do that. But having said that, again, I want to emphasize that I know most women are going to agree with this, that at one point the divide between men and women feels so much that you end up thinking that they are never going to understand it. There's a certain things men don't understand, and I'm not denying that. Because of the way we are programmed as men and women in a society, it so happens we do always get this programming that the men are not going to get the women and the women are not going to understand the men. And that is all fine, but it's a little complicated. And I chose this topic of a relationship because it's something which is very pertinent. Like you don't choose anything else in your life. Like in terms of relationships, you don't choose your parents, you don't choose your siblings, you don't even choose your future kid or your kid. The only thing you really choose is your partner. So now you have to ask yourself, why do you keep doing that? Why are you stuck in toxic relationships? Why do you always attract people who do not love you? And this is an unpopular opinion of mine. Number one, you only attract who you are. So if you are attracting toxic, unreliable, emotionally unavailable people, you have to understand that, babe, you are the same. You are toxic in certain ways to yourself. You are emotionally unavailable to yourself. And you might want to click off from this video, but I want you to go deeper. I want you to go deeper and analyze that why does it happen? It can be, if you go far back into your childhood, you might see that your father did not treat your mother right and your mom accepted that. And this is the story of so many households. I can't even begin to say. I can't even begin to bring you in the data. Then you can also ask yourself that what is it that I'm trying to overcompensate? What? Okay, I think I'm just going to wear the mask because I can see some people coming. So just hold on. Yeah, Luna's back. Okay. So now you might think that why? One of the reasons I already gave you might have seen your father not giving due importance and love to your mother, and your mother accepted it. So it is already imbibed in you that you are also going to do the same. And it is so subtle, I cannot begin to tell you. And I know we've been told that us women look for partners who are like our fathers, and imagine what happens when your father is abusive. For the men, don't think I have left you behind. No, no, no. For the men, if you've had a difficult relationship with your father, or you've had a difficult relationship with your mother, it will also translate into how you look and treat women, and how you allow women to treat you. So there are some men who have had a lot of abusive mothers, and their trajectory, the way they look at women has changed. And this is the same with women who have been through a lot of shit. What happens is it essentially distorts your view of the other gender. And this should not be, because essentially nobody inherently, or any situation inherently has no meaning. And I want you to see the sunset. No, you can't see it yet. Okay. So it inherently distorts things, and when it distorts it in your mind, you don't have control. If you are unconscious of so many things in life, you will not have the control over how to do it, how to be aware of it, or how to see the patterns. And I can tell you, any issue that you have, any problem that you have, I'm sorry, it's your family. Sometimes it's also something which is genetic, but more often than not, it is actually your family. Because our family is our first caretaker, and how they behave and deal with us sets the tone of how we deal and behave with ourselves. And in future, that translates into the kind of friends or into the kinds of relationships we get into. So instead of taking the down to up approach and starting to analyze why you think this way, for example, I feel so jealous. Okay, so I'm going to be out with it. I don't mind vulnerable in front of y'all. So earlier, okay, so I'm like a little chubby. Okay, so earlier when I was younger, I had a boyfriend. Why did I have that boyfriend? But that guy, because I come from a dysfunctional, toxic family, and he used to ill treat me all the time. Not just that, he discriminated against me on my caste. He would constantly say bullshit about my figure, about the way I looked. And take it, he used to go one step ahead and compare me with his friends. In the sense, oh God, I like women with makeup. Why can't you do makeup? Oh my God, you're fat. Why don't you lose weight? And I can't tell you how many times I was working out because people used to say shit to me about my weight, and I would break down crying. I've had so many sessions where after workout I'm just crying, because listen to this, weight gain or consecutively getting fat is not just hormonal. Even if it is hormonal, way before that, it is very emotional and spiritual. And when this guy, listen to this, like I was also this person, I let him walk all over me, I let him come and go from my life. And the last time that he finally broke up with me, and he broke up like around 5, 6, 7 times, like a lot of time. We were constantly on and off for 4 years. He had the balls to tell me a lot of things. But what happened to me after that was I was diagnosed with thyroid problem, because I was so scared of speaking up against him or talking up to him. And he was 4 years elder to me, and I was young, I was 16. I let him walk all over me, and that translated into so many things. Thyroid gland is very much connected to your throat chakra, and I would really not speak up to him. I would like be a doormat, and the light's gonna go away. Yeah, but I used to do that, and it gave me thyroid. And not just that, even in my family I never used to speak out as much. Like I used to fight when I used to see injustice, but yeah, that resulted in so many things. And the same thing later on, While growing up, my parents used to tell me, you're a liability, all of you are liabilities. Like my father especially used to tell that to me, you are a liability. So this entire concept of having babies was so effed up from the very beginning that I did not want to have babies. And I had hormonal issues, and then I got PCOD. And it is very recently, in the past few months, that I feel that I'm starting to heal, because now I am coming face to face with the choice that okay, maybe in future, maybe I'm not very on board, but I don't hate the idea. But do you see what was happening? Earlier I used to hate an idea, and that translated into my reality. And that is what happens to all of us. If you have anorexia, if you have any disorder, I'm telling you, it is because of the people around you. It is not always genetic. I'm not saying sometimes it's not genetic. No. Please don't get me wrong. But I'm saying a lot of us would be a lot more healthier in every possible way if we took care of our emotional body, because our emotional body is important. So go back and see, my belief system while growing up was, this is what I'm worth and I'm not going to get better than this, so let's settle down. I cannot tell you how many bad relationships I got into just because I held on to this belief. And you have to take the up to down approach. You have to first attack your belief system and analyze why do I believe something about myself. You have to do that. And I don't think I can go on with the video for too long because the light's fading away. And this is why I had actually come out, because the weather was nice, it was a little windy. So yeah, you ask yourself. And that one belief system affected not just my relationship, it affected everything in my life. So yes, I gave you an example, but I want you to go back and think more, because it is your belief systems which will give rise to certain emotions and thoughts. It's not like from an emotion the thought comes, or from the thought the emotion comes, and by now at this age it's vice versa. You can't really pinpoint. But what I'm trying to tell you is, attack your belief system. If you do not analyze your belief system and know that, and make adjustments to know that, okay, this is who I am aligned, and this is my belief system, and your belief system needs to be in alignment with your aligned being. Okay, so yes, I'm gonna walk while talking to y'all and see if I can get some light. Okay, I did get some light. Okay, let's see if this is okay. Yeah, I am doing this style of recording because as much as I love tarot, I also have to bring in self-development and spirituality into everything that I do, because that's how I look at spirituality. And having said all of that, again, get to your belief system, because your belief system holds the key to everything around you. Anything around you that is not correct, even with the kind of friends that you have, it is all your belief system. And if you think you need better, if you deserve better in life, then get your belief system to change. Make adjustments in your belief systems, because get this. When I started working on myself after my last relationship, I was working on myself for a long time, but after my last relationship, I really had to attack that. Why did I choose this partner? Why? Okay, and because of my belief system, I was always going towards security, stability, and that's not, I even had sorry, yeah, don't worry, nothing has happened. Yeah, even though everything was okay, I instantly had a belief that, when I start dating someone and certain things fall into place, I always had this habit of, okay, what's next? And it took me such a long time to understand that any person who comes towards me is going to be a lesson, or is going to be there for my further development as a soul, as a human being, because I'm going to choose that way. And so many things. When I changed my belief system, I actually stopped interacting and I stopped giving a lot of my free time to certain things from which, or certain people from whom I used to get a bad vibe. And I did that, and that works wonders, guys. It so even happened like so this is another thing, okay. In one of my last relationships, I was with a guy who used to describe himself like, I'm the nicest asshole that you're gonna see, okay. And I'm like, huh? So you understand that when somebody is a self-professed a-hole and still wants your time, babe, run in the other direction, because that kind of okay. Because there is a reason why I'm saying this. It's because when somebody is able to call themselves an a-hole, it shows how much they don't love themselves, how much they're not willing to work on themselves, how much effed up they are. And then you ask yourself, babe, are you really wanting to be with a guy like this? Are you really wanting to be with a guy who calls himself an a-hole? Because believe it or not, he's gonna treat you like that, okay. And I think that's a little thing that I wanted to talk to you about for a really long time. And don't worry, I will be doing an in-depth video where I tell you more about things, about these three things, your thoughts, your emotions, and your belief systems. But for now, it's a wrap. Remember, we are all infinite beings, and that we deserve the best. And go choose the best for yourself. Go work on your belief system, because you have to live the best life that you can. That's it. There's nothing else to it. Okay? So, see you again, and I love you all.